Hey guys, Troy Powers from Powers Fitness here to give you a little study I found on what is better, weightlifting before or after your cardio, or cardio before or after your weightlifting, whatever the fuck you prefer to say it like. Anyway, this study just came out 3 days ago from this video, so March 13th, 2014, fresh study for y'all. And it was done on 200 active and healthy men and women as well as endurance athletes during the years of 2011 to 2013 to thoroughly investigate this topic. I don't think 200 participants is thoroughly, but that's what they say. The participants of these studies were 18 to 40-year-old men and performed either supervised cardio immediately followed by strength training or vice versa for 24 weeks. And it was 2 to 3 combined cardio and resistance sessions per week, which is not very much. The researchers were interested to investigate whether the immediate anabolic effect of one single exercise session would differ between the two training orders and whether these differences would be reflected in a physiological adaptations induced by 6 months of training, as prolonged aerobic performance may weaken the exercise muscles and essentially reduce the ability to lift heavier loads during the subsequent resistance training sessions. The researchers expected to observe less favorable anabolic effects resulting in compromised adaptations in muscle strength and mass in the cardio first group compared to the group which started each session with resistance training. In other words, they expected to see that the people who did cardio first would have less anabolic effects than the people who did cardio after. That's what they expected to find with this study. Anyway, the findings were, indeed, the study expectantly revealed that the anabolic responses of one single training session seemed to be less favorable in the training group starting with cardio. This was especially indicated by reduced concentrations of serum testosterone during recovery for up to 2 days, which may possibly be detrimental to optimal muscle growth and strength development. However, this initial difference between the recovery times was no longer observed after the 24-week training period, and both groups actually increased physical performance and muscle size to about a similar extent. Based on these findings, the researchers concluded that the training order of combined cardio and resistance training does not seem to have an effect on biological adaptations, leaving exercise order up to personal preference. However, since in the early phase of the training, the recovery of the group starting with cardio was prolonged, caution should be paid when performing high amounts and or a high-frequency training program. Performing 2 to 3 combined cardio and resistance training sessions per week of 90 to 120 minutes each does not lead to differences in the adaptation of overall fitness and body composition between the two training orders. However, whether the present results may be ultimately applied to fitness enthusiasts with a longer training history or athletes typically training a much greater amount remains to be investigated. So to sum it all up, in case you guys are just like, what the fuck was I just saying? They found at first, when they first started doing the cardio first before the weightlifting, they did have worse anabolic effects during the strength training. So they weren't gaining as much muscle. They weren't doing as well at first. But after 24 weeks, both the people who did cardio before and the people who did cardio after were at the same pace, were at the same area of strength and muscle gains and all that. So, in saying that, your body adapts to it. So if you like doing cardio first, as long as you don't mind sacrificing the short-term gains, your body will adapt to it. So this is just proof, guys, that your body will adapt to anything you put it through. But in the short term, you will build less muscle. But in the long term, it's all going to come back around. Your body's going to adapt to it. Just like anything else you put your body under, your body will adapt. So all in all, it's up to you guys. Do weightlifting before, do weightlifting after. Does not matter, whatever you guys prefer. If you're really picky about your gains, do your cardio after. But remember, this study was done on 2 to 3 sessions a week of an hour and a half to 2 hours long. So 2 to 3 sessions a week is not very much training. The average bodybuilder, the average fitness enthusiast would work out typically anywhere from 5 to 7 times a week. So I find there has to be harder studies done on this, and it was only with 200 people, and it was only with men. So look at it for what it is, take it for a grain of salt just like any other study, and I'd like to see this done on a much bigger scale. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Powers Fitness out. Peace.